Yes, gang, it's right. That's right. It's Poppy's other workshop.
And straight after that, we've got Poppy. If you haven't seen Poppy's channel, go and check him out too. He's good for a chat, he's fun, and he makes cool stuff.
Hey, gang, Poppy in the room, but this is about out in the shop. The other day or maybe two ago, yeah, I think it was 2 days ago, I showed you a power chisel. It's an attachment for the flexible shaft. For those of you who don't know, a flexible shaft is a tool, is a flexible with a okay, with a flexible steel cable inside a sheath that doesn't rotate. The handpieces click onto the end of the sheath, and the end of the cable connects to their driver. And either with a foot pedal or I prefer a speed dial. You adjust the speed of your flexible shaft's motor that goes down the shaft, and this is a flex shaft handpiece, believe it or not, and the rotation happens. Or in this case, the reciprocating happens. Now, this as you see, is old. It's a 1974 vintage Fordham Flex-Aid. They made two types. This one, which is made to go on a 1/4-inch shaft, motor with a 1/4-inch shaft. You put it on it. I put it onto my Dayton 1/16 horse that was mounted in a little stamped steel thing for buffing wheels. And I had a Lutein speed dial. Okay. So this is genuine Fordham right here. Okay. All the other handpieces in my shop fit this. All the other handpieces in my shop fit my other flex shaft. It's a Procraft flexible shaft unit, motor, flex shaft, all my other handpieces attached to it and work perfectly. See, the thing is, Fordham is the name for flexible shafts. You want a flexible shaft, you want a Fordham. You're making flexible shafts, you want to make Fordham, or at least work with Fordham. That's why almost every handpiece for a flexible shaft you see with this type of fitting will work. Oh, Pepe Le Pew is out there. Okay, but not this one. Last night I went out to the shop. I was going to play with this, right? Figure out what desecrations I could do to it out in the shop in further videos. Sixteen thousandths of an inch. Too small. No problem, I have a lathe. I have my other flex shaft. I have all kinds of tooling. I can take that 16 thousandths out. Make it look real nice too. That's my next shop video. This gets worked on to make it fit my flex shafts. Okay. Anyway, about this. Let me take the collet nut off. And this threaded collar, okay, the threaded collar and the flex shaft attachment both thread on. And wow, they didn't get creative and make it different threads. That's a plus. I mean, they just go out of the way, make it different. It can't be the same. Because I want it different. There's too much of that in industry. Okay, now I'm going to open this up. Those two screwing on hold it together. Okay, now you see we have the inside. It has a sort of fibrous look inside of these moldings. Okay, now here's what attaches to the flex shaft. There's a shaft, a bushing, a bearing, another bearing, and one part of the clutch. Okay, now here's the working end. The chisel points go in here, the collet nut tightens up, gets them good and grunked down tight. Can you see? Okay, that's a cam. There's two of them. They're basically ski ramps that go up all the way, then bang, down. What these are, what it does, is as the shaft rotates, the other side of this clutch pushes on this, and it gets to here and it releases. This is a push and release mechanism. So far, I don't see any reason why they included that Allen wrench in this tool. There, come on, go in. It's a bit fiddly to put together because of that big spring in there. Sandwich in there, baby. There. Okay, anyway. Anyway, as I showed you, we got these two ramps. And push and release. It's pushing the chisel that way, and it gets to the top of the ramp, and it releases. And at the speed it's moving, it's going. That's your basic power chisel for a flex shaft mechanism. I have another handpiece. It connects at a right angle to the flex shaft, and it works on a cam also. It works on a cam that lifts the tool shaft, which is spring-loaded up here. And it gets to the release point, and it's on the other side of the opening inside the housing. And it releases, and the spring slams it forward. And you can adjust the tension on that spring. It's a hammer handpiece. Believe it or not, I used it for setting bezels on opal. fine enough adjustment that I go for 4 hours, but didn't crack the opal. Anyway, a cam. One, it lifts it, and the spring pushes it down. The other, the cam pushes it forward and lets it relax. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this on the lathe after I remove this spring holding this detent ball. The ball may go back. It's got a fairly good chance of going back. That spring, well, that spring is sacrificial, baby cakes. But I've got an idea for drill and tap here for a set screw on the other side. Yeah, I wouldn't have the quick bayonet connect and disconnect while the shaft is running. You can do that with a Fordham flex shaft and handpiece. Change it on the fly. Of course, not at top speed. It'd be insane. No, not at top speed. Okay, so that is that. Now, why did I say Fordham? Let me reiterate. Fordham is the standard for flexible shafts. Handpieces are generally made to connect to a Fordham compatible flex shaft. I was telling you about my ProCraft. It's Fordham compatible. All my Fordham handpieces connect to it. That right-angled hammer handpiece, I got that from Alpha. It's not a Fordham handpiece. Made to go on a Fordham flexible shaft, but it wasn't made by Fordham. But people who make stuff to go on flexible shafts, they make it to fit a Fordham flex shaft. Because that's what everyone has. That's what everyone wants. That's the quality name. I don't know why this is 16 thousandths of an inch too small. But I bet it being 16 thousandths of an inch too small relates to why I got it for $15 and change out the door, tax and shipping included. And one that looks just like it being sold at Micromark for 70 bucks. The neighborhood is 70 bucks. I hope Micromarks fit Fordham flex shaft. Or that poor girl on the order desk is going to be busy. Anyway, I'm going to go for now. That's the story of the factory defect on that flex shaft handpiece. Power chisel. Next video, out in the shop. And I make it work. Good night from California.